Hey, what's going on, everyone? How you guys doing today? My name is Matt Jarbo. This is 3 Buck Theater, and today we're going to be talking about Star Wars and canon. But before we jump into this complete cluster muck of a situation, I do want to sit there and quickly point out that when it comes to Star Wars and when it comes to canon, look, the EU is something that a lot of fans truly love. A lot of fans really care about, and they've been upset over the span of the last nearly 8 years that the EU has been toast. I mean, books like this series here from Michael Kube McDowell aren't considered canon anymore, and there are a lot of people that grew up reading these books as canon and want them to be part of the franchise going forward. And that's why it's one of the weird things, especially given where we find ourselves right now with Star Wars and Disney and Lucasfilm, why we would see headlines like this popping up today, saying Star Wars story group writer Matt Martin, Star Wars canon is all fake anyway. Well, look, to be fair, that is accurate. Star Wars is not real. Lightsabers don't exist. The Force is something that's just an old hokey religion. And all things considered, it's just fantasy entertainment. But a lot of people really like it, and a lot of people want cohesion in their storytelling, which is why Matt Martin here kind of made a bit of a gaffe, in my opinion. He made a bit of a mistake. Now, this is from his Twitter bio: lover of all things Star Wars, fan of fandom, comic junkie, pop culture fiend, Disneyland citizen, hockey player, creative executive, Lucasfilm story group. Now, definitely pay attention to that. That will come up here in a little bit. But this is the tweet that ignited, the fire and anger of 1,000 angry fanboys. He said this back in April: I'm of the mind that you can consider anything you want canon if it makes you happy. For the most part, it still works, but there are some contradictions with other storytelling if you really care. Well, you should care, because when it comes to storytelling, you want there to be cohesion. You want there to be an overarching narrative. You want there to be continuity. This is not something that people really argue against. Now, what he's generally referring to here is fan theories, I believe, where he says, I'm of the mind that you can consider anything you want canon if it makes you happy, which could then go into the whole, fan theory and shipping and whatever it is you want to do. I bet you this guy is a secret Raylo. I bet you he's a secret Raylo, 100%. But anyway, about a month later, that tweet was picked up by a guy here named Mark Langston, who writes, hey, missing words, a tweet you made earlier about canon versus non-canon sort of confused me. I completely understand the part about not enjoying something, less it's because it didn't happen within a fictional universe. I still read EU stuff and play Star Wars The Old Republic. Following up here, he says, but I also do knowing very well that if Star Wars were theoretically real, those would not be factual or actual events, sort of fiction within fiction. Is that not accurate? Thanks. And these are solid points brought up by Mark. And as a result of this, Matt here, he tries to scramble a little bit. He does. He tries to scramble, God bless him, to try to make it work. He says here, I think the point I was making was that what is and isn't canon informs how future stories may be told, but it doesn't need to dictate how individual fans enjoy their own personal Star Wars story. So in that example earlier, the person was asking about recanonizing a past story, says that specific story has been explored in or hasn't been explored in a new canon. And I said that if that story, or if they like that story, there's no reason they can't accept it as real in their version of Star Wars. But if there was an opportunity to tell that story now, that new creator would not be beholden to that old version of the story. Well, obviously, it would be a new take on a story that's no longer considered canon. Would that bother some people? Yeah, probably. Those who like, let's say if it's an EU story, like if it's Mara Jade or something along those lines, yeah, they might get a little bit on the upset side of that. But if that new story was incorporated using elements like fan favorite elements from that old story and brought into new canon, they would be more inclined to be happy with it rather than to be upset, because at least it's something better than nothing. That's how the general fan would view it. Now, Matt goes on here to say, to summarize, there's a reason that we need to internally know what is and isn't canon so we can keep our line of official storytelling as aligned as possible. But that doesn't mean fans can't individually pick and choose what they want to accept as true. Then this is the big one. It's all fake anyway, so you can choose to accept whatever you want as part of the story. If you choose to only accept the real official canon, cool. If you like to mix and match between continuities, cool. If you like to make up your own stories, also cool. And I get what he's trying to say in regards to how fans interpret this type of material. Obviously, you want them to have their own experiences and to be able to have their own headcanon, if you will, in order to be able to get more enjoyment out of the property. And on that front, I get it. I do. I do get it on that front. I really, really, really do. But at the same time, it's a little bit of crap, isn't it? It's a little bit of a sellout, isn't it? It's a little bit of a cop out, in my opinion, because when you think about all of these books right here, these are just coming in from the new canon of Star Wars books. And there are a lot more than just the ones I'm showing you here on the screen. And the reason why is because of something like, well, let's say the Lucasfilm Story Group, which according to Wikipedia is a division of Lucasfilm Limited founded in 2013 that is responsible for keeping track of Star Wars canon in order to assist writers and directors in the development of new stories. As of May 2017, the group comprises 11 individuals, and we can see here that Carrie Beck is on there, Diana Williams, Leland Chi, and Pablo Hidalgo is also on there. So I was kind of curious what Pablo would have to say, because he's not one to kind of move away from mixing it up with the fans every once in a while. Oh, damn, Pablo! I had no idea. Your tweets are protected, and you still haven't accepted my friend request yet. What the hell's wrong with you, Pablo? I want to know your hot, spicy takes about this kind of stuff. If only somebody had an in. I don't know. I haven't been able to find one yet. But look, when it comes to Star Wars specifically, and Star Wars canon, it is good to have canon. Canon dictates what is allowed, what isn't allowed in storytelling, and from an official standpoint. That official standpoint then needs to be translated across all mediums. That's the point of the story group. Matt Martin coming out and saying it's all fake anyway doesn't provide any help. It doesn't allow for any help. What it does is it just goes back and further solidifies that fan fictions are something that we should give any credit to. And I say that because it's like this. If people out there, like the Reylos, for example, the people that shipped Rey and Kylo Ren, they're probably, they're mostly harmless in my opinion, but they're vocal. They're pretty damn vocal. And they've annoyed a lot of Star Wars fans because they really wanted Rey and Kylo to get together. That's why I still think the kiss at the end of Rise of Skywalker was 100% for them. I do. I think that was JJ wanting to give the Reylos a little bit of something. If they can't, smash pelvises, have them kiss before Kylo dies. There we go on that one. But I mean, in that regard, he was placating that fan base by giving them something that is now considered canon. And there's been contradictions to that mindset in official Lucasfilm produced content, where books have said, well, it was a friendly romantic kiss. There wasn't any romance behind it. It was just a friend. It was platonic, like when Leia kissed Luke, at Hoth. It was platonic. That's all it was. It wasn't anything romantic about it. She wasn't doing it to anger Han Solo or nothing. It was a platonic 3-second peck on the lips. This right? I mean. It is what it is. All I'm saying is canon should be respected, and someone who is a creative executive of the Lucasfilm Story Group should put that above all else. Calling it all fake, it just does away with the illusion. People know it's fake. They know it's not real, but they like to pretend. And I get what Matt is ultimately trying to say. He's ultimately trying to say whatever you want is real. And that's in people's headcanon is fine. But that's not his position that he should be taking. His job is to protect the continuity and the canon of Star Wars. And I feel he is, and he's doubling down a bit on this today. He's trying to really explain it away. He's doing a lot of damage control. And it's kind of sad, to be honest with you. It's pretty sad, to be honest with you. I don't know what's going to happen with it, but I think the guy kind of showed that he doesn't care about that. That's not to say that the other people in the story group don't care, but you can't find out who they are anymore. It used to be on the Lucasfilm website. You could look at their leadership and see who was on the story group. They got rid of that, and I really wonder if that had a lot to do with a lot of fan backlash to stuff. And again, all Matt is doing, and I get what he's saying, but all he's doing is giving certain people bits of information to take without any context, and to further go to attack Lucasfilm and Disney Star Wars and the sequel trilogy, because that's all they're doing as a result of this, which is why I wanted to look at this from the perspective of a more middle ground approach and go, I get what he's saying, but he was stupid for saying it. That's the end of the day. That is what I'm trying to say. Anyway, what are your thoughts? What are your opinions? Let me know down in the comments below. I do look forward to your guys' thoughts on this one. Is it real? Is it fake? Well, we all know it's fake. But I mean, like, where do you stand on it? Let me know. Let me hear your thoughts, your feelings. Let it flow through you into the keyboard. And be sure to support the channel by liking, subscribing, and I'll talk to you all later. Have yourself a great day. Peace out. Support the channel through Patreon. Support the channel through Patreon. Yo, you got $1 support the channel through Patreon. Yeah, man. Just, let me throw down some fresh, fat beats to pimp the Patreon. Yeah. What's up, dog? Pimp it. Yeah, that's right.